Good evening, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host, Ahmed Nawaz. Once again, we're back on Monday, and it's going to be the start of a new week with a very, very special show. Indeed, another exclusive here of Sports Extra. Tonight, we've got a young prodigy in the making. Of course, there are two young prodigies, of course, at the same time, and they have been taking their respective sport by storm. They're a new sensation, whether it comes to in Pakistan, and of course, they're looking to dominate world in that sport as well. I'm not going to name that sport. I'm trying to keep it a secret, of course, but how long can one do it? But otherwise, we've got some great news for you today as well. We're going to be talking to these very talented two budding young players in their respective sport who have been taking that sport by storm as well, and they've got some great dreams for the country at the same time as well. Our team at Sports Extra has got this exclusive profile package. Let's just take a look and reveal who both of these are.
Madina Zafar and Faiza Zafar, known as the Zafar Sisters, have vowed to take Pakistan women's squash to new heights by winning laurels for the country globally. Both the sisters have been dominating Pakistan women's squash these days and won a number of titles, including recently held international squash events in Islamabad and Lahore, and they are keen to win more titles and honors for the country at international level. Both sisters have good relations off the field, but when it comes to court, they are great rivals. She made her maiden Commonwealth Games appearance at the 2018 Commonwealth Games along with her sister Madina Zafar. Faiza partnered Madina Zafar in the women's doubles event during the 2018 Commonwealth Games. Faiza Zafar took part in the 2018 PSF Pakistan Squash Circuit 1 event as a part of 2018 PSA World Tour and emerged as champion by defeating her sister Madina Zafar in the final. Madina holds #1 ranking in Pakistan female squash, while her sister Faiza is #2 in Pakistan.
There you have it, the very, very talented and of course the enthusiastically well-groomed, and of course what a sensation it is to watch them in the court as well. You just got to listen to that profile package. I'm not going to wait any longer. They are the very, very talented and of course a great future ahead of them. So happy and so honored to be joined with tonight on Sports Extra, Miss Madina Zafar and Miss Faiza Zafar, the Zafar Sisters. Good evening, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for joining us, and of course both of you here is a special treat. I understand if we had one, it wouldn't do justice to the other as well. So first of all, I think I'm going to ask Faiza this, because obviously I've got to take both of you on board. Let's just start with this journey initially. I mean, growing up we've got so many things to follow and so many sports to look up to, but why squash?
Well, I started squash when I was 10 and I was introduced it by my dad. He's a huge sports enthusiast. My elder sister, she plays cricket. So at that time we used to just feel for her. But then one day my dad comes home and he's like, he's met Jangi Khan at the party and he's like, well, I think you guys are going to start squash. And we're wondering what exactly is squash. And then that's our start. We didn't even know, but now we've got into it. It's something that is just a part of us and something that we love and defines us.
Definitely defines you as well, and I'll be very honest at this stage. I've watched one of you play, and that is,
right,
of course, Madina. I didn't have a chance to look at Faiza playing, but what I found out, because I was a spectator at that time as well, that you brought a dimension of aggression to the game. You were this, very aggressive young lady inside the court that looked to just, break her opponent into pieces and take the game.
Well, usually people know me by aggression when it comes to squash. Yes, I agree to that I play a bit aggressive, not a bit, actually very aggressive, but that's just part of my personality, I guess, that when I really want something, I go for it, I do whatever it takes to get it.
And I would reinforce what she says. We recently had a match against India in South Asian Games. And at that time, we all saw how aggressive Madina was to win it for Pakistan. And that's when I was really, really happy that she's an aggressive player, because right now, when you're up against India, that's very important for you to have that kind of an aggression, that this is not just any team, this is India, and we have to beat them. So I think that was one time I thought that personally, wow, I think that kind of aggression is definitely needed.
Definitely it is, but one thing that we must remember is that your siblings as well. So is that aggression just towards the court, or is it transferred back to the, the home environment as well at the same time?
I feel that it just stays in the court. Once we're out, we're just done with it. Yeah.
Yes, we're quite supportive of each other actually. Whenever we're not playing against each other, we're really, really into that. We need that Madina should come up, or as long as she's not against me, I think we're very supportive of each other and each other's career, on and off court, be it squash, be it studies. We're quite supportive.
Yeah. Once someone asked me that, who do you always want to see your match? So my response was that I always want that Faiza should be behind me when I'm playing. Yeah, so that's the kind of relationship we have. Out of course, yeah, so pretty much.
But
Yeah,
on
pretty
court,
much
we're
indeed.
very,
And of course, we've got something called the Kardashians in their show on television, which people watch so much. I guess if there was a lot of spice involved, we would have had a show with Living with the Zafars probably back at home as well. But generally, squash in Pakistan, both of you have had the honor of representing the country, the Commonwealth Games in 2018 as well. So how was that experience altogether?
Well, the experience was out of the world, I would say. Our first match was against India, and we were playing against the Bighan Joshna, and we were playing the doubles. I'm talking about the doubles, in which we both played in the same court. So we won the first game, and they were the previous champions. They won the previous gold medal in a previous Commonwealth Games. So we came out of the court and we were like, what just happened? Did we just do this? Did we just that was my maiden. That was the first time I actually went for my, a big international event.
Also, I think for any athlete, it's really, Olympics is something that they look up to and want to represent their country. And since squash isn't in the Olympics, which is quite a bit sad, but we were able to represent Pakistan at such a high level in the Commonwealth Games. So it was a phenomenal experience for us, both squash-wise and both as an athlete, to see all the players from all over the world come and play their respective sports. So I think it was a really good experience overall.
Absolutely, I completely agree. Do you also believe that, of course, we've had, a great era of squash. We all know the history of squash, how Pakistan had dominated. In between, there was a grey patch, which we saw squash wasn't that much popular anymore inside the country. We struggled a lot. But then, of course, once Pakistan Air Force came in, they took up the charge of having the Squash Federation. Things started getting better. So do you believe that since they've taken over, we've gotten that amount of facilities and the support that players needed?
Yes, I would personally think that Pakistan Squash Federation has played a major role in supporting us and motivating us. Pakistan Squash Federation has given us many opportunities that to take our game to a next level. And I would also say that recently we got sponsored by an army as well. So the team army has also supported us throughout the way. So I think these departments, both of them, Air Force as well as Army, has supported us and are an important, play a major role in who we are today.
Yes, I especially would like to thank the current federation, the current secretary, for his unwavering support in us, because he was the one who sent the girls team to the Asian Games as well. I mean, persuaded that 4 of us should go, and he's given us the chance to actually have international exposure as well. So we would like to thank the current federation for not only supporting boys but also supporting girls. So I think we would like to.
Yeah, and they went with us over there in the Asian Games, in the Commonwealth Games, and they were quite supportive and motivating in over there as well. We were they were always when we were in a nation, 2 people do believe in women, I would say.
Right, definitely. And I see the word unsquashable written over there. And I think this completely relates to my next question, which I was going to pose to you. And that was, of course, that sports can go a long way in terms of women empowerment that we want to see, not just in the country, but throughout the world as well. And of course, bringing girls up and giving them, a place for themselves as well, where they can completely feel safe, explore the potential that they have as well. So do you believe in the same concept of empowering young girls all over the world through sports?
Definitely. I think empowering women through sports is one of the strongest tools that we as women can actually come up with. And represent ourselves. And this is quite a growing thing in Pakistan, which is quite positive. So especially for girls who feel that there is no outlet for them to actually bring themselves up. So now with the way sports is developing in Pakistan gradually, and you see a lot of sponsorships as well. So I think this is something that's going to empower the girls to come out and actually not only take this as a hobby but also as a professional sport. So I think sports is, for me personally, I very much felt that sports has empowered me to be to actually go up high and empower other girls to come in and pursue sports as well.
Yeah, it gives us a very positive platform for girls to express themselves, to put their energies into it. And we were just working out today in the afternoon, and I had a headache before, and right after the workout, I was feeling energized, and all the positivity was around me. So I just said to Faiza that isn't it great that we have sports to make us feel better, make us feel empowered. So I would say sports is something that gives a very good vibe to the females out there, and they should opt for it.
Definitely they should, and we're going to continue this fantabulous discussion with, of course, the very magical, these super girls, the Zafar Sisters. But I think we're talking about, empowerment of young girls out there through sports. And it's important to realize the history of women in sports inside Pakistan as well, where they have been representing the country, proudly. They've gone through a lot of struggle and brought back a lot of laurels as well. So I think just a small package by our Sports Extra team. Let's just watch this regarding girls in sports in Pakistan and come back.
Pakistan women are now showing their abilities in a number of sports including cricket, hockey, tennis and squash. Samina Beg and Naseem Hamid as a Pakistani female sportswoman born in 90s and as female European diplomat. And a women that like sports born several decades before that. We both share belief that sports can empower women and men. Sports has power to inspire and unite people beyond class and gender. Sports gives us hope where it did not exist before, and it creates leaders who can change the world. There is enough evidence that sports can be a significant driver for gender equality in any given society. Sports can reduce domestic violence by teaching women and men values like teamwork. The reality, however, is that gender inequalities in the sports field are now that different from the gender inequalities we see in the home and workplace around the world, both in European countries and in Pakistan. Pakistan has produced a number of world-class athletes over the decades who have gone on to take the country to the pinnacle of sports such as hockey, squash and cricket. However, what has been missing from that long list illustrious names are women. It is only recently that a new generation of female athletes have started to become recognized. In mainstream sports, it has not been easy for these women though. They have had to break barriers, defy stereotypes and make a huge sacrifices to be where they are. Successful sportswomen are not only showing their skills on the playing field but also have an influence beyond it. Their status as sports stars allow them to weigh in and start important conversations around the gender equality and women's rights, which could potentially be a catalyst for bigger changes.
There you have it. A shout out to our team of Sports Extra bringing us some great information courtesy of these reports and packages at the same time as well. Now we're in conversation with these super girls that they are, of course, and they've been representing the country proudly and bringing a lot of accolades, of course, not just nationally but on the international stage as well. Now I must ask you two magical young ladies that how difficult has it been in terms of getting your way into the sport, because we do realize there are barriers, if social or not, but then of course this sport has a physical toll on your body as well, where sometimes to defeat an injury you've got to be very mentally strong. So how has that journey been for you?
It's that every girl faces when it comes to a society like Pakistan, but I would say the barrier that I faced most was the fact that in Pakistan we don't believe that sportsmen can be educated. We don't, the schools, the universities, the colleges, they don't actually support us in that direction. So I faced a lot of difficulties during my studies as some of my teachers were not cooperating, and due to attendance issues and as in people normally don't believe that sportsmen could be, educated. That is why they're like either choose sports or either go for education, and that is something that I don't believe in. That is something that is beyond me, beyond my thought. That I would say that they go simultaneously rather than individually. So yeah, that is a barrier that I pretty much face.
And like you talked about physical thought, it does take because squash is such a difficult game. I actually recently had a knee injury, and thanks to my coach and my strength and conditioning coaches, Andy Cockrell and other Phil and Marshall, and but I was able to 3 months of therapy. That's continuously being disciplined, having to do all the therapies, believing in yourself, even when you've got really bad injury, that you're gonna still come back and still be on that same level or maybe higher. So I think sometimes physically it can be quite draining, but then I think it's all part of sports, be it physical, be it mental, and like Madina mentioned, because in Pakistan it is very hard to just because the kind of support you get, it's very hard to establish yourself as, for example, as a professional career. You don't really get that much out of it. So you have that pressure that you have to keep your studies in as well, so that in any case, if you get physically injured or some sort of negative thing happen, then you can still support yourself. So I think those things were a bit on our way, but gradually we've learned to deal with them. We've learned to walk alongside with it. So I think yes, for now we are mature enough to see what and how to deal with them. So yes.
Yeah. So I believe that willpower plays a major role when it comes to a sportsman. It's an important part of who we are. So yeah, when you recently, as in last year, I got an injury that was my tennis elbow, and pretty much sometimes it just happens that you're just like, why am I even doing this? It just the injury keeps popping up again and again. But Faiz especially motivates me in this, and that she's like, you need to strengthen it. So recently we've been working on our strength and conditioning and avoiding injuries. So yeah, injuries is a part that comes out as a barrier.
Well,
but overcoming it is
completely to the fact of attendance issues. I myself have flunked college, university, and everything because of that, because our teachers never realized, because we were so much interested in co-curricular activities and sports. So I've been there, done that, and of course, where people call you a zero, then once you get to that stage, you've got prayers for all of them, no hard feelings. But talking about working on your strength and conditioning, I have seen you throw your opponents all over the court. I've seen players playing with Madina who have been crying on the court. So I don't know if that much strength now is going to, create havoc throughout the world, that we're getting these super girls inside court as well. But of course, a lot of power and prayers to you at the same time. Now, talking about both of you, because you've been, working together at the same time as well. Of course, I'm sure it helps in that connection because you're already siblings. But do you think that both of your games, of course, even if different in technique, are something that you bank on because you've got the added advantage of being sisters as well, that could really transform Pakistan squash when it comes to doubles?
Doubles, yes, definitely. I think we've got, as a team, it's a good feeling to have
a whole package. I've got the strength, she's got the brain, she's got the stamina, I've got the shots. So when it comes to doubles, I think there's not a better package. We could just you're just amazing in doubles. They should just give us opportunities to play more doubles. That's what I see.
I mean, both of you playing against each other.
Oh, right. Well, that's a very different scenario. When we're against each other, then there's no hard feelings. Go out there and play your best. Whoever is better will come out, no matter if it's the semifinal, if it's the final, or if it's the first round. You just go and play your game basically. Be your sister or be anybody else.
The game goes really long since we've been playing with each other since 10 to 12 years, and so we pretty much know what the next shot she's gonna play. So yeah, it gets tougher for us when we play against each other.
Right.
And it requires a lot of energy, and not to mention that. But I feel that when it comes to playing against each other, we're pretty competitive.
So who's the better player?
So I would say I'm the better player. She would say she's the better player. So
We've both got her first. As I said before, she's got the stamina, she's got the brains, I've got the strength, I've got the skills. So yeah.
Yeah,
it's a matter
I
of
guess that's a
like
tough
luck
question
points.
on you. But I guess we just want to see some great rivalry on and off the field at the same time as well. Talking about the future, of course, these must be really, really depressing times for a lot of you, because you've been practicing definitely before COVID-19, having a lot of tournaments at the same time as well. So how are you finding your routine now? Because of course, with the isolation and everything going on.
Yes, it's been pretty, I mean, it's a difficult time for everybody, and especially for athletes as well, because we have to stay indoors. For somebody who goes to the court every day, somebody who goes to the track every day or to the gym every day with all those facilities, and all of a sudden you're just stuck in a room, you're just stuck in a house with nothing to do but just wait for when things get better. But obviously, as is everybody doing, home workouts, just make your own gym, buy stuff off online, just get dumbbells and all that. So yes, it's been a very difficult time, but as I mentioned earlier, my coach, Andy Cockrell, he actually, like, on a daily basis sends us routines to do, workouts to do, cardio workouts, and strength and conditioning. So we've tried our best to not only keep in shape, but also actually grow and make ourselves better when we actually go back into the court.
And having Faiza around just makes it better for me, because usually people are at their homes alone and they have to motivate themselves to go out, to get up and to cardio. But we have each other, so that can be a plus point for us. That is a plus point for us. Yeah, we motivate each other, and every day it's like, hey, Faiza, we need to do this. We need to do this. This is gonna get over soon. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
With so much technicalities that you're talking about, and definitely the routine you have, I'm getting goosebumps anyway. But what about the main important factor? Are you guys, both of you, are you diet conscious at the same time as well? Because I've talked to so many athletes who are absolutely picky about their food. But me being a foodie, I find it very, very hard to believe.
Yes. Well, personally for me, I'm very much vegan. You may say not vegetarian.
Well, there's this diet we've been following.
Yeah.
It's called plant-based diet. Research about it, mostly people don't know about it. So it's a very good diet for athletes, I would say. It involves taking proteins from nuts, from what can you say?
Beans. Yeah. So it's very much. It's like you have everything. For example, for dairy, you have plant-based dairy instead of the other dairy. So for us, it's been. I think I tried it out and it worked for me because it makes me. It does the things that it does to your muscle and your stamina.
What it actually does is that it when you eat meat or when you eat dairy, your blood goes like thicker, and when you have more plant-based diet, it becomes a bit. What can you say? Less thick? What's the word? Yeah, less thick. So the oxygen flows better throughout your body. You recover faster and
less injuries.
Yes, less injuries, and the fat comes off really quick, and you start gaining muscles rather than the fat that's coming from the diet. Yeah.
So we've tried this out and it's actually worked for us. So yes, it's more of a plant-based diet these days.
Well, there you have it. Now, all of our viewers know that these super girls are not just squash players, but they're nutritionists and physios at the same time as well. So it keeps on getting better and better at this time, of course. Really, really impressed, of course, with all the knowledge that you're possessing. And definitely, I think it's good for a sportsman if you follow that. So that definitely means that you're saying no to pizzas, no to chocolates, and no to everything else that makes people happy.
Well, this is the thing now. We've adjusted to it in a way that it's not a matter of, I can't eat this, but it's a matter of, I would rather have this.
Yeah.
So I think we've come to that stage now that we would prefer
it's a lifestyle now. It's not something that we're forced into it. It's just something that we prefer over the other diet. Yeah. It just whenever you have some dairy in the in your breakfast, you just you feel a bit heavy when you're working out and stuff. And when you have a different sort of plant-based breakfast, it just feels very better when you're working out. Yeah. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely does, of course. I completely agree. I wish I was that disciplined when it came to my diet routine as well. But that being said, of course, both of you have represented the country in so many tournaments on the national stage as well, of course, representing your various departments at the same time as well. If I was to ask each of you one of those very special moments that you have in your career that would always define you, which you think was one that you would want to live on forever?
Yeah. I'm sorry, can you just repeat the question? I didn't get it.
Yes, I was asking about that one moment in your career which you would want to live on forever, that you really cherished one part of that career. Well, we're having some technical difficulties. We'll try to get these Supergirls back as well right after this very, very short break. Stay tuned to Sports Extra. Welcome back to Sports Extra with me, Ahmed Nawaz. We're in conversation with the Supergirls of Squash, the Zafar Sisters. Now, before the break, what I wanted to ask both of you was that in this illustrious career so far that you've had, is there one memory that you always remember and cherish that you see as one thing very special while your time playing in Pakistan or outside Pakistan?
There isn't one. Actually, there are many memories. But recently, when we went to South Asian Games, we were in the finals against India, both the men team and the female team, both of them were in final against India. The first match, we lost the first match and we were 1-0 down. It was a matter of gold or silver for us. And well, the next match was my match, and I was playing against I don't know the family, maybe. Yeah, so I was playing against this girl from India. I'm sorry, I can't recall her name. Yeah. So the thing was that we were 1-0 down, and if I would have won the match, then we were to play the next game, and then there was a chance that we could just win the gold as well. But I lost, and then we were out. Then we were the silver medalist. Well, so the match started, and I was pretty much hyped up. The way you just said, I was aggressive, and I was like, I need to do this for Pakistan. And at that moment, the issue of Kashmir was going on as well. So that just hyped me up even more. I was like, oh, I need to do it for my brothers, for my sisters out there. So that was all that was going in my mind. And so the match started, and then I won the first game, and I was like, let's do this, Medina, let's do this. And then there was the crowd was the Indian crowd was cheering, the Pakistani crowd was cheering, and it was like, you know how matches are when they come to Pakistan-India matches. So yeah, then the next game we were 1-1. Then it went on, the match went on, and in the last some of the last points, I just looked up to my and I saw my flag over there. I was like, I need to do it for Pakistan, and that was it. I was tired. My breath was out. I was out of my energy and everything. But it was the only thing that was, that kept me going was the flag on my shirt, and I was like, I need to do it for Pakistan. And then when I did it, when I won the match, it was 1-1 for us. We had a chance to go for the goal, and I was super happy. And that was a moment that I just cherished, and I feel that it defines me as a patriotic person, as a Pakistani, as a Pakistani female player who can do anything for her country.
Well, what a great memory that you've got. And definitely, I think, like you mentioned, that you were hyped up because of that flag. All of us, of course, back here would have been the same, hyped up, and in the crowd as well. We all felt that connection, playing against our arch rivals. I completely understand. Now, talking about the future, of course, testing times, COVID-19 at the same time as well. But what do you see the future planned for the Zafar Sisters?
Well, we're very hopeful that soon we will have our course open, because we were speaking to our department army that let us know as soon as the courts are open. So I think the army courts are gonna open in July, on the July 1st. So we're gonna be back on court then, obviously with all the recipes and everything. But since we've been training at home for 3 months, physically working out, so we really can't wait to be on court again and play squash. And hopefully during this pandemic, still maintain some kind of a positive vibe about the future, and hopefully PSA or professional squash tournaments, they come back in. A lot of countries have started to reopen their borders in squash, so hopefully professional squash comes back in, and we'll probably start regaining our international ranking and working on them.
Oh, completely agreed, and definitely I think all of us hope that things get better and sports, of course, resume in the full-fledged manner that they were before these testing times as well. You've been inspiring so many people out there. I'm actually one of them, and I know so many other people out there as well who have taken you as an inspiration. Do you have a message for all of those young girls out there who want to be the next Medina and Faiza Zafar?
Well, if you think you can do it, then you can do it. There's nothing that's going to stop you. So I hope we serve as inspiration to you guys, and it's possible. Just get out of your home. Not right now. This is a pandemic. Stay home. Work out at home. But as soon as we're done with this, get out of your home. Go to the court. Play. Go to the court. If you want to go to the court, go to the court. If you want to go to the ground, go to the ground. Just do whatever you feel that you should be doing. Do not restrain. Do not constrain yourself because of the societal pressure. Yes, you face a lot of difficulties, but it's a matter of time. Soon enough, you'll just go out there and you'll let yourself outshine.
And for all those who are already in sports and pursuing and trying to be at the best of their games, I would like to give them a piece of advice that I myself really work on, is the mindset. Have the mindset of a champion. What you imagine, what you think is what you will get. So if you picture yourself winning a big thing, you will eventually get there. And trust the process, because if there is definitely going to be setbacks. But as long as you're trusting the process, as long as you're trusting that this is actually in fact helping me, then you are on the right track. So have that kind of mindset, have that confidence in yourself, and definitely
have faith in yourself, girls. Get out of your husband, just do this.
Absolutely. I think, of course, from both of you, there's been some great inspiration out there, some great words put up as well. And I think on behalf of the entire Pakistani nation and everybody out there and your fans, we must thank you for your services to the nation, and we send you a lot of prayers indeed. And if there was ever a bigger award for sports, then it would have been there for both of you as well. And we of course wish you at the same time for a great career ahead of you, and we want you to keep rocking in those squash courts and bring us some great awards for Pakistan.
We will definitely try, and thank you for your kind words.
Thank you for having us here today.
Thank you so much. There you have it, and those are the very talented, the beautiful, and of course the really enthusiastic, and you could get all of that energy from them as well. And that's what it means for these Zafar sisters. They're absolutely phenomenal when it comes to the court. And of course tonight on this show you've got to listen to them as well, all the passion that they've got, not just for the sport as well, but inspiring so many out there as well. And I think if we keep on supporting them, I think I'm going to be in that crowd regularly once things get back to normal as well. We've got to support them, cheer for them as well, root for them, and let them keep rocking in the squash courts, bringing us some great memories from squash, and of course achieving a great name, not just in Pakistan, but all around the world as well. Because of course, remember, we've got some great talent when it comes to sports inside Pakistan. We're showcasing it in front of the world, and of course bringing back some great prizes as well. The Zafar sisters, of course, Medina and Faiza, are a great inspiration for all of you out there as well. And you can follow suit as well, like both of them said, that if you think you've got it, then you've got to follow it at the same time as well. That's all we have for this very special edition of Sports Sector. We've been completely honored tonight, and we're going to bring you this exclusive content throughout the week once again from me and the entire team. We're going to, of course, tell you to stay safe, stay at home, follow the SOPs, and of course don't come out if you're not an essential worker. But even if you are, follow the guidelines given by the government. From me and the entire team now, it's goodbye for now.